Hi there, it's Liz Yule from Old Sables Crafts again. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. It's kind of late afternoon here in Oxfordshire now, so it's getting a bit dark, so I'm hoping that the lighting in here is okay. I've tried to cut out as many shadows as possible, but fingers crossed. And today we are going back to making a box. And this is the box that I have already made, and obviously we will make another one in a slightly different colourway. This is using the Sending Love Designer Series paper. She says checking that that is what it's called. Let's just check, because I'm just, you know, haven't quite got my head around all the new Designer Series papers. I hope you've got your new Spring Summer catalogue. If you haven't, drop me a line on my, just pop me an email across, or there's a contact form on my website, so follow the link to that. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you're in the UK, let me know and I'll get this out to you, as along with the Celebration catalogue, which, as you know, is full of lots of freebies. Yes, so this is the Sending Love suite, which is huge. And is perfect for this time of year because, of course, we've got Valentine's coming up. Although you don't have to use it for Valentine's. And in fact, the project that I've just got here is not really Valentine's. So don't just think this is only for Valentine's. It's for anything where you like real red and whisper white, really. So that's the suite that I used initially, and we're now going to make an alternative version in the Falling in Love suite. So that's also in the new Spring Summer catalogue. So let's have a look at what we've got. So it's a little box, and it holds two Nails Ink nail varnishes. And what I've done is try to match the cardstock to the colour of the nail varnish, and then I put a top coat in as well. But I think that's quite a nice little gift for just a little thank you gift, or if you're getting married, you could use it as a gift for bridesmaids, that sort of thing. So yeah, let's have a go at making another one. So this time, these are the two nail varnishes I'm using, and again, they're Nails Ink nail varnishes. Oh, and the final measurements of the box are, let me just get this back. So this is 2.5. No, it's not. Sad, really, isn't it? It is 2 3/4 by 1.5 by 2, which is, let me grab a metric ruler. I promised myself I was going to be organised today, and I'm not. Again, just for a change. I'm sure I will come across a ruler, because I know it's on my desk somewhere. And the crazy thing is, yet again, I don't have a huge amount of stuff on my desk, and I can't see my ruler. You'd think it would be easy enough to spot a ruler, wouldn't you? Anyway, we'll come back to the metric measurements. If I can't find them, I will make sure they're on my blog post. As ever, all measurements will be on my blog post, so don't worry too much if I fail to find a metric ruler between now and the end of this video. Anyway, so let's get started. Procrastination over. So what have we got? We have got a piece of Sahara sand, and remember that in the catalogue, and also on the back of the papers, if you're worrying about or wondering about what colours go with which Designer Series paper, we make it really easy for you, because under the Designer Series paper, let's see if I can get that in camera and not too much in the shade, it actually says Blushing Bride, Sahara Sand, Soft Sky, Sweet Sugar Plum and Very Vanilla. And then it's actually got a 12 by 12 combined pack with Blushing Bride, Sahara Sand and Soft Sky in it. So it's always easy, and I have to say I use those colour combinations if I'm wondering about what colours go together. I quite often, even if I don't have the Designer Series paper, I'll look through the catalogue and see what's been used in other papers or in papers, and then I'll use those colours to go together. So Sahara Sand, 7.5 by 6.25, which is 19 by 16 centimetres, and then Designer Series paper, we have got two pieces of 1 3/4 by 2.5, which is 4 1/4 by 6. Sorry, 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. 2 pieces at 2 1/2 by 1 1/4, which is 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, and 1 piece at 1 3/4 by 1 1/4, which is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. So you can actually, if you're using a 6 by 6 stack, which the Sending Love is, you can get all of these pieces out of one cut. That if you cut at 2 1/2, you will get all of those pieces out of the 6-inch piece of Designer Series paper. So that's always good to know. You will also need a piece of, just a scrap of very vanilla cardstock, because this is a vanilla based paper rather than a white. So very vanilla this time. So I'll pop those to one side just so I can lose them for later, and bring in my scoring board. So we are going to score with the long side at the top with the small end of the scoring tool. I'm going to score at 2 inches, 3 1/2 inches, 5 1/2 inches, and 7 inches. And then turn it, and it really doesn't matter which way you turn it, but turn it. And then score at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, and 4 3/4 inches. So that's all that done. Let's pop the scoring tool away and burnish all of this. So Celebration, remember, £45 of product spent. You'll qualify for an item in the Celebration catalogue, which are all free. So if you spend £90, you get 2 items, which is always good to know. And also remember that during Celebration, we've got a special offer on the starter kit. And remember, that's a no obligation starter kit. You don't have to become a full-blown demonstrator just because you've got the starter kit. You can just be a hobby demoist and get all the discounts and what have you. That is always £99. It's always £130 of product. But during Celebration, you get 2 extra stamp sets of your choice, free for nothing. And you don't pay postage for the starter kit anyway either. So what are we going to do? We're going to cut into all of the bottom and top pieces, and hopefully you can see there's a sort of a ridge having scored. You want to cut so that the bigger pieces have got that ridge not included. So the ridge goes onto the smaller piece, because you're then going to just cut that out. So ridge onto the smaller piece, and then just wedge in a little bit on the smaller one, ridge on the smaller piece, and then wedge in. And then at the end here, just cut and wedge. And then this piece here we don't need anyway, so let's just get rid of that and get rid of that at the same time. Here we are going to also cut in there, and again we don't need this piece, so we will wedge straight into that. Now this is going to be our lid, and most of the rest of this is going to get cut away, so we'll just cut so that the ridge is to the smaller side, this side, and then whilst that's here, rather than cutting in and then getting rid of, I'm actually just going to cut about 1/2 inch away from this fold here. Should probably have brought in bigger scissors, but hey, there we go. Hindsight. And then all we're going to do is wedge, wedge, and wedge, and then we don't need this bit. So, Celebration, absolutely the best time to stock up on all your goodies so that you can make the most of the Celebration items, and also, say, best time to to get the starter kit and make the most of that offer too. This is the Project Life corner rounder, and we're just going to round these corners because they're going to be used as the flap, so it's easier later if they are rounded. Then with our fast fuse, we are just going to put fast fuse down this flap here. Oh, and before I do that, I've just noticed I haven't wedged here. So let's wedge that before we start having to fiddle with gluey bits. So fast fuse here, and remember the trick with fast fuse is a gentle touch and a flick. And then that's all done, and because this is a proper box, all we have to do is fold it, and that will just marry up beautifully. And then, having established that this is going to be our front, because the box is going to fold forwards and this will be our front, so we need this to go back. So the sides in, that in, we want to glue here, and because nail varnish is not the lightest thing, make sure you've got a reasonable covering of fast fuse, and then just fold that up, bone folder in just to make sure that's properly stuck, and then we'll just close that for the moment, just make sure that it's all sitting nicely, which it is. Bring in our designer series paper, and because this is just decorative, we don't need fast fuse, we can just use snail for this. So flip open and then just there's a little border around each side. There we go. And as I say, the starter kit really is putting a toe in the water. Don't worry if you don't want to run classes or any of that stuff. If you think you're going to be the only person that ever buys from you, that's fine. That's not a problem. And if you don't manage to meet your minimums, and they are very low minimums, you've got till the end of June to do that. So if you don't, then you just drop as a demonstrator and keep everything that you've bought in the meantime, which is always good to know. But one of the real advantages, particularly at this time of year, is the new catalogue will be launched in June. So you'll be able to buy from the new catalogue, but as a demonstrator, you'll be able to buy early because you will be able to buy at least a month in advance of everybody else. So that's always good to know. So just making sure that we've got the right bit and we don't stick this to the bottom. You can do a piece for the bottom, but as it's the bottom, don't really need to bother. So yes, just bear that in mind. There'll be a link to the joining the fun part of the of my website, so in the link below. So that's good to know. Right, nail varnishes, they go in sideways and they just drop in nicely. There's a little bit of movement, but it's actually quite a good fit. So I'll pop that to one side for the moment whilst we do the stamping for the tag. I'm going to use two stamp sets. Firstly, this one, which is called That's the Tag. This does come in a bundle with some framelets and thinlets, which I actually decided not to get. I have to limit myself to a degree, so that was where my limit was. But there is a bundle on that, and obviously remember that as it's a bundle, you get a bundle discount. So I want the circle, and I want, there's a nice to from as well, so I'll take those out. Now, they're photopolymer, so I'm going to bring in my stamping piercing mat. May not actually need it. These are stamping quite well actually, but just in case, it's always worth having them. Now, because this is a circle and because it's photopolymer, it does have a bit of a life of its own, so I would tend to just pop it down and let it relax a bit, and then pick it up using the block, and this is a C block, so, and it desperately needs a clean. So you're more likely to end up with a proper circle if you do that. And then I'm going to use, I was going to use the Memento, and I'm having second thoughts about that. No, I don't think I will. I'm going to just use Blushing Bride. We know Blushing Bride is in the paper because the catalogue tells us so. So let's use Blushing Bride. So ink it up, tap, tap, tap. It's a foam pad, so just tap, tap, tap. And then, so that we don't waste too much, just stamp down and up. Pop that to one side to clean later. And then, let's see, what shall I do next? Let's do the sentiment next. And I'm actually, for the sentiment, I'm going to use one of the Celebration stamp sets. This is called Avant Garden. And it's got two-step stamping. So if you watch my previous video, I showed you how to use the Stamp-A-Majig. So if you're a little uneasy about two-step stamping to begin with, then I would recommend the Stamp-A-Majig to help you with that. But this is fairly loose two-step stamping, so I wouldn't worry too much if you haven't already got that and if you don't want to get that just yet. But remember, for every £45 you get a free item, and you could get this. So it's a very generic set of stamps. So you've got birthday wishes, to someone who makes others so happy, and thanks for being you. And it's the thanks for being you that I'm going to use. Now this, which is just sort of splodges, is very useful for backgrounds, so bear that in mind. So let's bring in another block. And again, I'm going to use the Blushing Bride and just stamp that slightly down, because I'm going to punch a hole. Having punched this out, I am going to punch a hole in the circle. So on the subject of that, this circle, because it says so in the catalogue, goes with the 1 3/4 inch. I don't know if you can see that without being blinded. Anyway, this is the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. So open it up, upside down, pop it in, line it up, and you'll have a little bit of a border. So I just need to, the lighting is not great for me either. Little bit of a border, and just punch, and that's that. Don't need that anymore. And then before, actually no, I'll just do the hole, because then I'll know where up is. I'm just going to take the 1/8 handheld circle punch and find the sort of middle of the sentiment and pop that there, and then with my little baby A block, which is our Diddy one, stamp that up and just stamp to and from. So that's our stamping done, so let's get that out of the way, because I have been known to put my thumb in a stamp pad. Don't need that anymore, pop that out of the way. I'm going to take some linen thread, just so that I've got something to attach my tag with. I must actually let's just cut a slit in that, so there's somewhere for the end to go. So we'll just feed this through here, tie it in a knot, and we're coming to that point that us YouTube demonstrators dread, tying a bow on video. I am using the new 1/4 inch wide, very vanilla satin ribbon, and this goes with the Falling in Love suite. For the earlier version, when I was doing this red version, I used the white grosgrain from the Sending in Love ribbon combo pack, which comes as a duo, 10 yards on each roll. 9 yards on each roll, and you get the Whisper White and the Real Red. So masses there. This one you get 9 meters in total, so 10 yards, but 9 meters in total. So let's clear the decks, because this is going to be, as I say, that scary bit where you have to tie a bow on video. So let us begin. So make sure I've got a decent end. Fortunately, this is double-sided ribbon, so it doesn't matter which way up is. And then let's just hope that's enough. And then tie the half knot. There's this in camera just about. Let's go up a bit. Tie a half knot and get that all how you want it. Then feed the tag on. This is where I need at least 2 sets of hands. And then, having got that in place, tie the bow. Deep breath and hurrah! We're there. So there you are. Actually, let's pop it there. So thanks for being you. Thanks for joining me on this video. I hope you've enjoyed that. And as I say, if you want any of the dimensions, they'll be on my blog post, as will a list of all the products that I've used, and I'll link for both the red version and this version. Let's bring in the tag. So both the Falling in Love and the Sending Love versions. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, then click the subscribe button. And think about joining. This is the perfect time to do it. There's no better time of the year to do it, so just think about that. It really is only a toe in the water, and there really is no obligation to do masses of selling or any of that scary stuff. And you get to be involved in all sorts of wonderful team events, and you get magazines and all sorts, as well as your discounts. So do think about that. That's it, really, I think. Yes, celebration, tick, tick. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Thanks a lot.